We are here today to announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about why exactly is Bitcoin not running yet. Why is it red? Why is it sitting at 67,000? It doesn't really move. What's going on, right? We are going to look at that, and also there are some news with regards to where we are in the cycle. There are some news with regards to global liquidity that influence this price behavior that we have at the moment. There are some news from Tudor Jones, a little video that we're going to watch, and obviously we are going to take a good look at the charts, at the altcoin market, at some altcoins maybe, and then we are finally talking about Ecomi and Veve in the end as well. So make sure to stay all the way through for the good stuff. So, good morning, everyone. We are in the middle of the week. It's Wednesday, my dudes, and we are excited for the rest of the week. I think in the end of the week we have options expiration that could bring some volatility. But first of all, I want to ask you to smash the like button right now, even though we have a little bit of a slower start. It's funny how when Bitcoin is not green for like 2 days, you have a little bit of a slower start towards this Crypto Morning Coffee. And then when Bitcoin pumps, it's like 20 people waiting in line to actually absorb the content. But so far so good. I see Chris Klein is having fun with the emoji, with the rare hodler emojis. That is nice. Also, MVE, good morning to you. Everyone who's coming in new, please smash up the like button right now. That would be great. And also, Patrick Bultman is here. Good morning to you. Let's have a deep sip of coffee. And I want to thank all the rare hodlers here around me for supporting me here on this journey, on this channel, on the way to 100K subscribers, obviously. I want to thank each and every one of you for supporting me here on a monthly basis. These guys that you see here, these heroes, they are keeping this channel ad-free, in the sense of that I'm not shilling any bullshit coin to you, which will get you wrecked in the end. Not that I would like to do that or so, but I don't have to, luxury, because of the rare hodlers. In other terms, also that is the reason why we're using pro version of TradingView. So this is the only advertisement. Please, if you enjoy this channel on a daily basis, consider becoming a rare hodler at some point. If not, that's also fine. Or if you cannot afford it right now because you're buying degenerate meme coins, that's also fine. You do you. And now we are going to jump into Bitcoin, and actually let's take this cleaner chart to see what's really going on. This is what people are frustrated about, right now. This is what people are frustrated about. This little red blip there above the above the bull flag. I can't really understand it, to be honest, because we haven't even come down. Like, we could say, we should even be down here at 65,000, right, and not at 67,000 for a real nice retest on top of this bull flag, right? That's where we should be, not here. We would really want to see the rest of this, right? To say, oh, nice, proper retest the entire week, right? First of all, you can still buy at better price here, and secondly, it would be the best bullish continuation pattern as you have a confirmation on the weekly and then go, right? So either way, I mean, it's kind of a retest. Either way, how deep it goes, it's kind of a retest on top of whatever level we find here, right? Like if you would put more horizontal view on that, maybe on the monthly or so, then let's look at it on the monthly actually. Then yeah, on the monthly you still have a bullish breakout. So if this retest happens, obviously we don't want to have it close inside, because otherwise on the monthly you're still in this super long flag. But so far it doesn't look like it. We have still 8 days left. So I would say we're kind of retesting here, maybe even down to that, and then we go, and then the month closes bullishly above the flag, but who knows? And the market is waiting for two things: elections and the next rate cut, right? So the economic numbers in between, that's what we are waiting for. Omeprazole says, I think it's supporting on a weekly uptrend. That's why, yeah, that could also be like this level here, right? Which is fine. I think in the other chart we have it, so we see it here a little bit better, I think, where we have put in this zone a while ago. That would be even on a daily, but we see it here, right? It's finding support currently basically on top of this wick. That would be the exact level, like the wick of this week is the support for this one. If that would be the one, that would be very fine, right? But I think we'll have a continuation unless something really bad happens in the world, which rips us down into this flag again. Other than that, also market manipulation could be a thing, but that's that. Now, this one is really cool. So, quickly for orientation purpose, we have the Bitcoin price in white. We have 3 Bitcoin cycles in here basically, with 1, 2, 3 bottoms and 1 top missing, right? And this is the 1 year change in total whale hodlings, right? So usually when you are at the end of a move, you see that the whales, they know it first, or like they are ending it basically after a massive accumulation, as they are turning into net negative change, right? So meaning they are starting to sell. This happened here, right at the top, right here. Here the change in 2017 started very early, but there was also like the accumulation is somewhere back here. We can't really see the data, but here we see accumulation is going up and then peaks here. Somewhere here it peaked, and only after that we have this massive run. And when this massive run starts, whales are selling into it, and you get this pattern here where at the top basically all the retail is buying all of these hodlings from the whales, right? So so I think that we are now here, and let me move this a little bit to the side so you can see it. So we are now here accumulate. We have never seen this level of accumulation, also because of the ETFs. But this accumulation also, we are just at all-time high. So we are somewhere where we are here, right? So we haven't really seen, like we didn't see this whale accumulation really top out, peak out, whatever, which would then lead to this price explosion afterwards, right? We didn't see that really. Omeprazole says, I think it's going to form a cup and handle. Yeah, we have that also here. Let me see. Let me pull up the cup and handle, the morning coffee chart. Here's the morning coffee chart. that is basically what we have to break out for this cup and handle right now, and now this week would give us confirmation if it closes above, which I think it will. And that would be then very bullish, right? And the target for this cup and handle is 120k. So let's see. But that is exactly, I think that's what you're talking about, Omeprazole, right? That is what you're talking about. But with the whale accumulation behavior, I would say we're not there yet for this massive run. So when will it run? After the elections, very likely. And once whales are done to do their thing, suppress the price and at the same time accumulate, right? That's what they do. Omeprazole says no. I mean, right now the structure outside the descending pattern, I think it will be just a handle for a retest. Oh, maybe this like is small inside here. I don't know. Like it could be. So another thing is, you remember that yesterday we talked about the ECB and their like with the let's say unfair situation, right, where the ECB guys were saying, oh my god, so unfair, people are early in an investment and others are left behind because they were not investing and so on, like a lot of stuff that makes no sense at all. So now we see also that the ECB is basically bullish on Bitcoin, and that's the reason why they are doing it. So here, let's see this text here. While the current market value of a Bitcoin is in the range of 50 to 60k, so this is a while ago, now it's almost 70, it could be argued that any price for Bitcoin is equally plausible, including 10 million or more, as none of these prices have, I think that's an error, right? As none of these prices have, it must be, have any particular economic justification or imputed bias, imputed basis, right? So no economic justification or imputed basis. Listen, I don't know what exactly they are doing over there, but that, like, the same could be said about gold, right? Like, where's the economic justification or imputed basis for gold or whatever other finite asset and so on? Like for Bitcoin is I think it's very much that, because it's basically a mathematical function against debasement. So that's what we were talking about, and that's also, if you understand that Bitcoin is the perfect asset against debasement, the one asset that truly protects you against debasement in any form and shape of way, then also it becomes clear that what we are saying on this channel each day, that global liquidity, which is the debasement on a global scale driven by the different governments or different central banks, that this debasement, I lost my train of thought, but you know where I'm getting at, right? If you have understand the mathematical function, basically you know that the global liquidity is the driver for price action. That's exactly what I meant, right? So so this makes no sense, because economic justification is exactly that. Someone is basically is debasing my money, my workforce, my output. That's the debasement, and I want a protection against it, and that's the economic justification, right? I need something that protects me from overreach, from invisible tax that never has been agreed on by anyone, right? No one said, oh, I vote for this because I want to be invisibly taxed 10% per year. Because if anyone believes like the 2% per year inflation numbers, that's it's not reality, right? I mean, we can go through the process and build our own baskets, like what we really buy, or you can just collect all your grocery bills and put a monthly, like an average on each month, and you will see how this gets more expensive over time, right? And then you have your debasement. So the funny thing is the government needs that. Every government needs that at the moment, because it puts their own debt into relation, right? So let's say a loaf of bread costs $1, and the government debt is 1 trillion, right? So if the government, just very simple, but government has now 2 trillion debt because they just made another trillion of debt. So they need to have the prices also go up so that their 2 trillion are now in relation to $2 a loaf of bread, right? So 100% inflation over time, obviously, not from one day to another, but over time. So now that also means for you to buy the same amount of bread every day, you need to get 100% raise, right? If you say, like, if all the articles are behaving like the loaf of bread, you need 100% raise, so that, and that cannot happen, right? So what in the end needs to happen is that you only get a 30% raise, the loaf of bread costs 2, and the government has the 2 trillion in debt and doesn't pay really much interest rate on it, and so on, right? And services that by printed money. Gold and silver are pumping. My YouTube chat actually not banned, but doesn't show me this comment because of the ticket probably. But gold and silver are pumping and will continue to also. BTC will pump for the same reason. No trust in dollar. Bitcoin will hit 85,000 plus real soon. Disclosure, I own no BTC. Oh, hey, that's Stu. Okay, now I saw it. Like, okay. That's Stu. Hey, what's going on? When the big boom hits Middle East, watch metals and BTC pump hard. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. And I mean, it will also hit crypto hard. I mean, look at United Arab Emirates, for example. They are preparing to be the hardcore crypto hub, like no income tax, very crypto friendly in general, preparing for own stablecoin. And so on. They are going hard on this. By the way, we have 22 people now here, a couple of latecomers, but please smash up the like button for the interesting discussion here. Good to see you, Stu. We will look at gold along our way of the charts here. But I like that you are very bullish on this. Maybe a question to you, Stu. Do you hold like the physical gold and then go through the like the effort to sell it at some point to at any vendor, or are you trading the gold on a digital basis? This would be interesting. Green Lantern GM boys, they stoic market will turn around end of month. Yeah, Dubai, here we come. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's crazy. So also 13 years ago, and here you have a little bit of a when you compare gold from 13 years ago to Bitcoin, obviously Bitcoin was the choice, but this is funny, right? So we see now that like central bank articles, news, they're teaming up to say it's unfair that we have Bitcoin and so on, and the latecomers they don't have it, or the non-holders, and it's unfair. You need to take away from the people who have it. Now, 13 years ago, there was the chance to have it, and then the same guys, like everyone's like coming out and saying, oh, the bursting of the Bitcoin bubble, briefly, the world's favorite digital currency, Bitcoin, is in trouble. That was 2011, Bitcoin was at 250. I mean, you can't make this up, it's so crazy. Stu says, hold gold and silver physical only, trust nobody. But what about like, Stu, to be honest, like why not a bit like a mini piece and bit of Bitcoin, in case that like at some point the trust nobody, you can do a like a OTC transfer of Bitcoin. Yeah. So anyway, so that was that. So now since then, like this where this article came out was like down here on the function. So then was all-time high, then all-time high, bottom, all-time high, bottom, all-time high, bottom. What's coming now? All-time high somewhere here, 100k, 120k, 200k, 250k, right? And then the next bottom, right? And at the next bottom there will be super like the last stand of Bitcoin. It's this time the speculation is over. No one trusts it anymore. Blah 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 blah. Right? It will come again. SL is here, GM Padre. How is it going? And what the hot news shit about Bitcoin? The hot news is that that global liquidity. Here we go. Here's the hot news. Global liquidity is just on a tear, 106 trillion. It's also front-running Bitcoin, as you guys know. So the funny thing is, if you consider, and listen to let's make the comparison. Let's drag this over here. Okay, so let's say this year is the beginning of 2024, right? Yeah, that's the beginning of 2024. Okay, so January. Okay, and then we are moving sideways, and we cannot breach this, and then we even correct pretty deep, right? Okay. This is the beginning of 2024. We're moving sideways, and then we even crash pretty deep and come back up. Okay, you see where I'm getting, right? And now we broke out for global liquidity, and we retested, and then we went, right? And now we broke out, and we are retesting. And what is next? What is next according to global liquidity front running, what we're looking at? Do you see this? Like, do you see how this is basically the bull flag that Bitcoin is forming? This is the breakout. Here's the retest, a little turning back of global liquidity. So if that's the case, then hey, we M2 is front running Bitcoin by 1 or 2 months, right? That means that if we are here and global liquidity is here, that here our pump is already programmed into the DNA, into the system. If you believe that Bitcoin is a mathematical function against debasement, this is debasement. Less debasement, more debasement, right? This is it. This is it. So you already have your breakout. Yeah, when this global liquidity comes back, then you have your bear market, right? When this at some point is, but you will know it. You will know it because central banks will be, oh my God, we have to hike some rates and keep inflation in check, and I don't know what. But now is the time of money printing, about printing away the crisis for another, I don't know how many years, right? So, as El says, I think I got only 10% what your supermind puts out. If you didn't get it, guys, please let me know, right? I'm happy to go over it again. But hey, by the way, I don't have a supermind. I just like to look at this the whole day. So it's not like, oh my God, super Stephen Hawking wheelchair race, right? That's not it. So once again, maybe for what we're actually looking at, like global M2, right, is the money supply, the money in circulation in the entire world. So if you have the US and they're printing US dollar, it's only a part of this. There's also India and printing the rupees, and there's Japan and printing the yen, and there is China and printing the yuan, and there is the ECB printing the Eurozone. All of that is in here. Like all the money that is in circulation of each currency, all together packed, measured in dollar, is this value, 106 trillion. Every time they print more money, this goes up. Doesn't matter where in the world. For example, can also be that you don't have new money printed in Afghanistan, but you have it in India, and then it adds on top of liquidity. So this money is not printed to keep it away in a store, in a storage, right? It's being injected into the market in different ways, right? For stimulus package, or paying back interest on debt, paying back bonds that are expiring, and so on, right? So someone receives this freshly printed money, and that's the point where it really hits the market. And with someone who received this, so for example, someone who sold their bond, right, got the money back, they now buy, let's say they buy a stock, like stock trader gets a couple of percent, takes profit, right? that stock trader buys Bitcoin with it, and boom, that's how from the government printer or from the ECB printer machine it hit Bitcoin, right? So this is the way it takes some. This is also why it takes some time. All this takes time. Like, it doesn't come out of the printer directly into people's pocket. It takes time. That's the government money only, though. Total money in the world is like 1.5 quadrillion, and banks hold most of it. It's not printed. Yeah, but this is the M2 is the money in circulation, right? So it's when all that money starts getting into crypto, that's why a 10 million Bitcoin will happen. Yeah, I mean, if you did, I think what you're calculating, I agree with you, but I think what you're calculating is what we looked at yesterday. If you take all the market caps of all asset classes, right? So for example, there are 300 trillion in bonds, and then you're coming to 1.5 quadrillion, because there are 120. There are these roughly 120 trillion in cash. That's what we see here, right? The 106 on global liquidity index, because this index that I'm showing here is not factoring in every country in the world. Like when Andorra or I don't know who, a super small country prints money, it's not reflected in this. Total, it's about 120 trillion, right? So 14 trillion are missing here. So you have 120 trillion in cash, you have 300 trillion in bonds, you have, I don't know, 500 trillion in housing market, you have 16 to 18 trillion in gold, and so on. So all of that, but that's not cash. Like, this is only basically the cash circulating side, right? Calm down, Mr. Surreal. Global M2 is all the GDP from all countries, and it's only government money. I disagree, but let's look it up. I disagree. M2 supply, right? So look it up here. M2 consists of M1 small denomination time deposits in amounts of less than 100K, less individual retirement account, and Kiosk balances as the depository institutions, and balances in retail money market funds, less IRA. And okay, so that was a little bit too complicated. Let's see here. M2. Let's take this one, like these infographics from investment thingy. A measure of the money supply that includes cash, checking deposits, and non-cash assets that can easily be converted into cash. Right? So M2 is money supply. A measure of the money supply that includes cash, checking deposits, and non-cash assets that can easily be converted into cash, which is which is not a house, yeah, which is not easily converted, right? Non-cash assets easily converted. The definition has to be looked up as well, but it's like, I think even stocks and bonds and so on are not really factored into this, because otherwise the M2 must be way higher, right? So yeah. So M2 doesn't reflect GDPs. M2 doesn't reflect GP. You don't understand. You Bitcoiner are all so greedy. I don't know, man. Are we, or do we only want to protect our wealth? That is the discussion here. But please don't fight. Let's just look up what it is. I don't think GDP is in, but a couple of these non easily convertible assets that you can convert into real cash. Here is, yeah, that's the world GDP. If you sum up all GDP from all countries, is exactly that. That would be interesting. I don't know. I will have to look this up because the GDP is not like the output is not only cash or things that are easily convertible into cash, but they are paid in cash. So maybe on a global scale, obviously, someone always has to pay someone for this production. So then, but that cannot, like, does that make sense? Because you can print more, like you can print more cash without having any real growth. Also, you can you could technically service that out of cash without actually producing something, right? So you would not add to like if you print cash, do you add to GDP? Yeah, guilty. I am greedy. Frag the tech. I think on a global scale that's true. Like let's say China produces something, and then someone prints rupees and pays this Chinese producer. GDP goes up, right? So maybe that's true, right? Spinachi says, terrible look for Saylor to become a shill for the government and banking system and call true Bitcoiners paranoid. Saylor is on a mission to relegate Bitcoin into an investment bedrock. Yeah, I saw this interview with Saylor where he basically said that all the anarchists, like the Bitcoin anarchists, are not the investors that he wants to see, or something like that, right? Basically saying that all the people that are like trying to see something new in Bitcoin, and yeah, I don't know. The other side is, why does he say this stuff? If he says something else, probably like he could, I don't know, sometimes then people just like plane crashes, car accident, I don't know. So maybe he has to a little bit pet the pet the people, the certain people, right? Sometimes maybe he has to, right? Sometimes sometimes you have to say some of these things to be safe. I don't know. So here we see also the M2 growth, whether it includes or whether it's the. Actually, I think I might get what Omeprazole is saying with global liquidity, measuring basically the GDP, right? Like maybe true GDP is better measured in other terms, but here we go. So the M2 growth, like this money function that we just looked at, like money supply, including cash, checking deposit, non-cash assets, and so on. That money supply has been always expanding and then contracting, expanding more and contracting, but always is expanding more than really contracting, right? Every time we contract, though, we have a bear market for Bitcoin, right? And every time we expand, like here, we get a massive run afterwards. But you also see, like, there's expansion, and then sideways movement. At some point, when expansion gets harder, like the whole thing is going up, right? So you can even see in the very beginning of this chart, it also holds true. Like, money is expanding, Bitcoin bull market contracting, Bitcoin bear market, right? So it's really like this global liquidity function is the driver for the Bitcoin price, whether it's measuring the one little piece or not, right? So I will check up to which asset is counting as easily convertible for the M2, right? Anyways, that being said, and thank you Omeprazole for the input there, right? M2 correlates to GDP and vice versa, but not the same. Yeah, that's what I thought. But it's an interesting discussion, right? Because I mean, in the end, like the economic output is reflected in monetary terms, as usually one actor pays the other, right? If you produce, you pay your supplier. This is super interesting. On the other hand, you need something stable to measure real GDP, because, for example, in the Eurozone, you have countries like Germany that have literally zero GDP growth since over a year. And at the same time, you have the M2 supply going up, right? So not correlated in that sense. At what price Sailor gets liquidated? Oh, that's very low, I think, at the moment. I think it's sub 40k. And even then, I don't know. I mean, MicroStrategy is still having big cash flows, right? Where they can first service debt out of these cash flows. They only have to service the repayment rate plus interest. It's not like they have to pay it back all at once, right? It's not that easy to get liquidated if you're a player of that size. But yeah, also it's very difficult to get liquidated if let's say a bull run starts or something like that, right? But that's, who knows? He says he will never sell, so he's probably very sure that he doesn't get liquidated. Okay, so let's listen to this also. I think it. Oops, I don't want to pay premium, not yet. Here we go. Here we have a little 1 minute video again from Tudor Jones. It's quite interesting what he says also, and it ties a little bit into our discussion. So let's look at this.
By the way, the interest bill this year is larger than every single line item except Social Security. It's larger than defense spending, larger than Medicare.
I want to talk about why you're here, which is Robinhood and this conference. But before I do that, is this, given all of the things you're saying, are you off buying gold and Bitcoin and
I think all roads lead to inflation. We're going to end up,
but does all roads lead to inflation? Therefore, gold is a good investment. Is Bitcoin a good investment to you?
I'm long gold. I'm long Bitcoin. I think commodities are so ridiculously underowned. So I'm long commodities. I think most young people find their inflation hedges via the NASDAQ. That's also been great. It's probably some combination. I probably have some basket of gold, Bitcoin, commodities, and NASDAQ, something like that. And I would own zero fixed income. If I had my cash, it'd be very short term. The playbook to get out of this, you see it in Japan right now. They have 2% inflation, 30 basis points overnight. They don't want to raise rates. The playbook to get out of this is that you inflate your way out.
Yeah. The last word or the last words are actually exactly what we're talking about, right? So you have this massive debt, you inflate your way out, the standard, like the normal citizen pays, and you need a hedge. And he basically named the 4 things that are giving you a hedge against this, which is S&P 500, NASDAQ, gold, and Bitcoin, right? So, and of that, there are different percentages, but as long as it outperforms hidden inflation by at least 0.1%, then you are technically preserving your wealth, right? With an asset class that is not as adopted like Bitcoin, you have more like 40 to 50% annual growth rate, right? And we will see how it continues. Like this growth rate might shrink. So here's the retest on the charts, right? In the other way, USDT, we're out. We're coming back for a retest, but I would say we're significantly out of this rising channel. So that also implies that we are going higher. Interestingly, DXY is going higher still. Like that is almost 4% increase, which is quite surprising, to be honest, in the face of rate cuts. But as long as this downtrend that we are looking at since years on this channel basically is still intact, it will turn around probably and go lower. What we don't want to see obviously is that it somehow puts in a higher high and then goes crazy, right? But it will not because of the money printing. Gold is at all-time high. that's why Stu is here, right? Gold has just hit a new all-time high. Gold is absolutely on a parabolic run, and here's your prediction from Stu. It stays on my chart until it's true for gold. And let's pull up also Bitcoin here. Let's add Bitcoin to the mix for. Actually, that was not the way. Let's put this out. There you go. You always have to do the this little trick here, so you get the real scale. There you go. Right. So we have. Yeah, that's where we are, right? We expected that at some point we will, after sideways of gold, we went sideways for Bitcoin, and then gold went up, and we expected that lagging, interestingly, we are going to follow gold at some point, right? So now this is what we're doing. But you see here really how how this all kind of fits in together, right? So you see how gold is technically front running Bitcoin, right? I'm trying to put these scales together in a way that it really fits, right? Yeah. So here we see that gold kind of moves in the same way as Bitcoin does, right? And now gold is on a tear, and Bitcoin is still not out of the slump, not out of this consolidation, right? But it is breaking out of the bull flag and probably following gold in short, as we also saw for global liquidity, right? So that is basically it. I like this comparison a lot. For DXY, if you do it for DXY, it's basically like an inverse mirror of DXY, which is because stablecoin to crypto is like 1-to-1, whereas with, for example, global liquidity in general, you don't know exactly. It could be one currency to another, like the DXY. If you take the dollar, it can be the dollar to stocks, dollar to gold, dollar to house, dollar to consumable, and so on, right? So it's not really. It's not really something like that. So let's look at the market. Let's look at how the market is doing. So ApeCoin is still up on the week, but now, like almost all coins, they are suffering a little bit. SL says, okay, bro, I have to go. Thanks for the show. And don't forget, Bitcoin fix it. Bitcoin fix everything. Fuck yeah. Okay. Thanks, man. Have a good one. So here we see like the things that have pumped are correcting, everything else is correcting. By the way, we quickly could look at here Bitcoin dominance, right? So what we see is that Bitcoin dominance again it's still on the rise, right? So when Bitcoin just corrected, actually Bitcoin dominance is going higher, meaning that altcoins are correcting a little bit harder than Bitcoin, right? So we are still like this whole thing, like which we were saying forever, it still holds true. It's still Bitcoin season, right? Until proven otherwise. We didn't see Bitcoin turn around in a big way just yet. So it's still, in my opinion, it's still enough time to buy altcoins if we want to buy altcoins. Because they're all like getting a little bit of a discount, and against BTC, they're also like getting discount. Other than gold, nothing's really pumping. DYDX had been pumping, now it's correcting, which is behind my video here, this red bubble. Everything else is red, also in top 200, top 300. Everything is red except big time checks and so on, the things that have been pumping. NPC is pumping a little, not pumping, but going up a little bit. But then others are like deep in the red. Also here, like top 400 coins, everything in red. Yeah, so wherever you go, like everything's red. There's really no the whole market just moved down with this Bitcoin correction, right? And it's normal. It's like recovering, reloading. Let's check out the altcoins on the others chart a little bit, like total market cap for the others chart. And yeah, we have this breakout. There's nothing really, no real change from yesterday. We're expecting after this is flagging out this to go higher. You could also argue that you're forming a small bull flag here also, right? You could also argue that you're forming a small cup and handle here inside, right? So here, yeah, right, this one. Overall, these alts, they are, we can also look at with Ethereum and so on, we could look at total 3. Total 3 is actually excluding BTC and Ethereum. Total 2 is excluding Bitcoin and stables, so maybe total 2. And total 2 is like forming the same pattern that we basically have seen on all the altcoins, right? Where you have this base, you come back, you retest. Basically, this whole thing with, like which we said, like the altcoin market with Ethereum is basically forming this 1, 2, and now there is this 3 wave, right? Something like that. Maybe not that high, that wave 3. Maybe a deeper wave 4 and then wave 5, right? Something like that. But, and maybe a little bit more squeezed into here, right? So a little bit more steep. But something like that for the entire altcoin market cap would not surprise me, to be honest. Also, entire altcoin market cap, you have the same situation. If this is a resistance, you have a cup, a handle. The breakout is already happening if we're zooming in. So I think we're good to go, to be honest. Like, how does it look here with a breakout with Ethereum? Yeah, nah. Something like that, right? It's not really, actually, that's not really broken out, right? Actually, it didn't really break out. The total 2 of somehow, like Ethereum, because I know why, because Ethereum is doing so poorly. It's actually, if you take this, like really this high here, then you're getting rejected. Yeah. Interesting, right? So technically you don't have your last wave beginning because of Ethereum, and Solana has to save it. Whereas the total 3 probably looks more like that. By the way, this look at this old prediction. Like, we should have gone like this, but we really didn't. So that was not. We should have been already going, like, if we just copied the other part of the cycle from here into this, we should have already pumped, right? So we didn't. Let's keep this here on the side. Yeah, this actually, let's see if the total 3 is already broken out. We didn't look at this since a long. Yeah, the total 3. See, it's like it's like I estimated that if you take this resistance and you have a breakout with Ethereum, you don't have a breakout. So Ethereum is really shitting the bed, right? We will keep it, just moving it right a bit. Yeah. But I mean that there's no sense in market structure if you're not like, if you're looking at market structure, you say like, okay, this could be like this, and then you're like, okay, this could have been this, right? So you have your retest. It's only taking a little bit longer, but there's no sense in like copying it somewhere, right? You're more like, okay, here's your breakout. This should move like this. It didn't, right? So it's like here you have your breakout from this symmetrical. So there's no sense in just copying it somewhere and say, hey, this market structure, now I'm right? So no, this has been clearly wrong. Like this, it didn't happen like this. Maybe it will explode here, but then it's something like this is then way larger. Maybe you could argue, hey, the structure is correct, but it needs to look like this, right? Something like this, right? I don't know. Yeah. Then you could say, okay, yeah, somehow similar. Yeah. Maybe if you move it up, right, it will from there. Yeah. So maybe what you can argue is like if the cycle takes longer, like the cycle, the timing of the cycle and so on, everything takes longer because of lengthening cycle, low liquidity takes time. Then you could argue something like this. But the breakout point, at least in the structure, needs to be like if you stretch this maybe more, even more, right? So you go like this. You go like this, and now it's like, oh my god, it's the same. Right? Oh my god, it's the same. That's how we go. Maybe that is it, right? And this was very steep because the money printing after the pandemic was also very steep. Maybe it will be larger for larger consolidation. Maybe, who knows? Yeah, that could be possible. I mean, this would be like $6 trillion market cap if it would be like this, but yeah, it fits quite well, to be honest. So, but I'm hesitant to just design things out of thin air. So yeah, we will see. We will see if it happens in this way or not. But this is what the altcoins show. So clearly, Ethereum is the one that makes total 2 somehow underperform the rest, right? So all the other altcoins, you see, all the other altcoin market is fine, right? So if, for example, if you look at Link, like at Chainlink, you see that Chainlink is clearly moving in a little bit like is similar to the total, but Chainlink is holding up very nicely, whereas other altcoins are like really shitting the bed, right? It fits though; it's the same. Yeah, we will see. This now the total on the total 3. This is the omeprazole prediction. George says Solana will flip ETH this cycle. It can happen, and then maybe for the next cycle we already have to be on the lookout. What's the next big thing, like that did quite okay this cycle but isn't right there yet, and then we'll just buy the hell out of it for the next cycle. Also, this one here for Chainlink, since we have been talking about it, this is cool. I don't know if you guys saw this, but here is like, we are excited to announce the results of an industry-wide corporate action initiative between Chainlink, Euroclear, Swift, 6 financial institutions. We successfully demonstrated how AI, oracles, and blockchains can solve a decade-long unstructured data challenge in finance. So Chainlink is playing clearly, like Chainlink is playing another game. It's crazy. Like here we see it. Euroclear, Swift, Franklin Templeton, Wellington Management, UBS, and so on, like only the big names. And then also cooperation with other blockchains, Avalanche and ZK Sync, right? So PIF is Chainlink, but on Solana. That could be, so everyone, like the big institutions, they are using Link. And there were last bull run, there was also a competitor to Chainlink, like Band Protocol, for example. But we can look at PIF a little bit. Obviously, because it's so new, there's not so much chart. Let's go into the daily actually for this one to be able to see any. That's actually not a good chart. Let me see. PIF US dollar. There you go. That's better. That is better because no one's trading new coins on Bitstamp, I guess. Yeah, I think that's it. Inception. What do we see? What I always like to see is resistance, broken, some form of a double bottom-ish base, big support. This is the support, big support. Higher lows, right? Higher lows, and where's the higher high? Still in the making, I guess, but here's a higher high, right? Here's a higher high. Very interesting. How about the other? This one also seems to be important. This support, but also this resistance, right? Somehow. Yeah, that could be a nice buy, right? That could be a buy. I mean, there are several things that imply that this could be a good buy. So here you have higher lows, right? Here. And then also you have a higher high here. And now basically, if you want to be it's coming back right now. If we want to be very certain, we could wait for like a breakout and flip into support, right? I mean, we have been already here. So if we only would go back and challenge the next all-time high, it would be almost a 4x, right? Nice. Now I want to buy more. I mean, there could be actually a deal. So if Bitcoin price goes a little bit lower, this could come back one little bit more. So maybe there's even a better entry than this, but that's very speculative, right? You never know. That's like guesswork. Also, what's the market cap on this thing? Let's grab. Let's go to coin market cap, and let's check out. Pith network. Oh, but it's real. So this is the thing. Yeah, it's 1 billion. It's not very low. Don't chill it. Don't chill it. It's 1 billion is not very low, right? I mean, you're talking about the top 50 coin or something like that, right? It's in the top 50 with that. It's on all big exchanges already, so like this is good for the coin right now, but in the long run it would be a little bit of a bummer, right? Let's see what the statistics tell us about this whole thing. Website, okay, where's the... okay, so fully diluted, look at this, fully diluted 3.15 billion. But the volume is pretty high, so it's really nice. Fox Shapeshift Crypto. What the heck is that? Let's see. Fox Shapeshift Fox token. 11 million market cap. Uniswap, Coinbase, Gate.io. What did they do? This will be the last coin, by the way. Can make a new alt potential for 100x the cycle. What did they do actually? Does it say here as website? Your multi-chain, another multi-chain, okay. Shapeshift multi-chain, Snap Live, connect your MetaMask. I don't know, guys, don't connect your MetaMask to anything, right? Don't do it. Like, don't connect until you're absolutely certain. Your wallet, one app, endless opportunity. Okay, so it's not another wallet like Phantom or so. Lending, borrowing, hardware wallet, stake, bridge, NFTs, everything. They do everything. This is why it's multi-chain. Okay, so 11 million. There is no reason why not throw some money at it just for a more gambling reason or so. But yeah, it can do 100x. It can do minus 100x. You don't know. Okay, guys. With that, let's move on because otherwise we're running out of time. let's not even look at Ecomi here at the moment, but let's look at this. So we are now in the Ecomi Veve section. Those small ones could be legit, but still get hacked easily. Yeah, that's true. Not everything, but some of these coins, like you have to consider total loss. So for me, this Fox thing, I would do more chart on that and so on. But the Fox thing would be, okay, let's take, I don't know, a couple of $100, put it in. If it doubles or triples or whatever, take the initial investment out plus some profit, let the rest ride as moonbag, and that's it, right? Here, see this from Veve values. Oh yeah, I mean connecting MetaMask. Yeah, that's very risky, right? Because it's like you cannot just click, or the best thing is set up another MetaMask, an empty one, and then do it. Like if you want to farm an airdrop or so that your wallet doesn't get drained, right? So here we have breaking. Marvel announces Magic the Gathering card collection, right? Could Veve see Magic collectibles soon? I mean, there's no reason why not. Like Marvel is doing so much with Veve, and Veve has been a real money printer for Marvel. So this one could be very interesting. For Magic the Gathering here, and also another one for Veve. Let's see actually first before we go into statistics, if they have put out anything crazy. So there's a new comic, then there's Humility Space or whatever, but nothing more. Like they're returning at the moment from NYCC. They are calming down. Like everyone is reassessing their situation, like financial situation after aping into all that stuff, right? So not much going on Veve directly at the moment, but this one's cool from Harby here, the Harbinger, sorry, whatever. He put together some market statistics for the Veve active wallets market, and this is interesting. I didn't fully come to any conclusion. So one thing is clear: market volume is pretty down year to date, even minus 64%. So that is one thing that is here on the side, right? You see this here, minus 64%. And interesting is also buys and sellers in numbers transactions. So you have the most frequent buyers, where this 010B is the one, like 22,000 buys over the last period. Then Dr. Fuse, 17,000. Then we have Veve Ente with 9,934, but also has a lot of sales, right? So it's more like trading around. And then you see here some people, they just buy, they almost never sell. Like the first two and this one, they only buy, they never sell. And then there are some people that buy but also sell a lot, right? And then we have the most frequent seller. We have the Michael Camper, who sold everything, basically bought very little. Then Veve is here because of the sales also. We see that there's a lot of wallets that sell and buy, that are flipping around like crazy. On a serious question, I have 1,500. I want to invest. Should I do on Bitcoin or Shiba? I can't tell you that, because I first of all, 1,500 what? Argentinian pesos, dollars, euros, Brazilian reais. I don't know what you have. And secondly, I cannot give you financial advice for that, but I can only say if I was to allocate 1,500, I would take at least half for Bitcoin, even though I know that it doesn't do the same multiples. And with the other stuff, I would spread out over altcoins, right? And I don't know. Me personally, I wouldn't buy Shiba, right? But that's just me. Omeprazole would diversify into alts, Sui, Say, Sol. Yeah, exactly. So that, like, if it was me, I also would do that. Like maybe half Bitcoin, and then Solana, Chainlink. It's not a lot. Needs alts to get gains. That's a decision. It depends on this time frame, because you can just take the 1.5K and throw it into a small cap altcoin and try your luck, right? You can also take 10 times 150, put it on pretty small caps and hope that one flies. Then buy BTC in bear market. It depends, right? I mean, it depends. It depends on his risk strategy. This is why I can't answer this question, because like there are some people that are super risk averse. They just want to have like something that doubles, triples, whatever. Then Bitcoin is absolutely fine. But there are also others that just, Bitcoin with the leverage? No leverage, never leverage. Not for me, at least. Right? Let's also see what's going on Stacker. So there was a sale of a partner statue, Marvel Comics, also on the floor, 4.5K. Has sold a lot of the higher value comics, like someone bought the 123 mint. This goes back to my last video. If you haven't seen my last video, check it out. This goes back to my last video with the 123 mint of this ultra rare, probably to match the physical that Veve sold on NYCC. Also, number 70 of Ghostbusters logo gold has sold. An amazing fantasy has sold. Floor is at 7.6K to miss the squibs. So we see now all of these are already known on Stacker. Also, a gold logo has sold for 6.5K, or at least the floor is on 6.5K. So we see some of these, like these are actually like all the old grails that are selling, like Rezo Batman for 1K, stuff like that, Partner for 1K. All this stuff is selling at the moment, but you see like it's all different people they're buying this stuff. Also number 72 of the Wolverine has sold. So there's a lot of things going on. But sometimes you can't take it seriously. For example, here we have a Tarzan secret rare comic. Just because no one has listed it at 850K, up 28,000%. This cannot be taken seriously, right? So Bezosman, on the other hand, is at 64,000 NFTs. Dr. Fuse at 23K right now. So there, you see that once, like last cycle, Dr. Profit was Veve's biggest whale, and now he's not even visible anymore in the top 5. Alright? So you see how Thanatos and Mr. Rolex and this guy and Dr. Fuse and so on, they're all piling up collectibles. They have all passed Dr. Profit, right? So there are some things happening. There are some things happening in the markets, right? So top collectibles. If you go to collection and so on, you just taking a quick look here. We see, for example, also that over a long haul, this gold logo is up 62%. This is more serious. Or the Marvel Comics number 1 is up 93% on the last 3 months, right? So the price has recovered, right? What is that column there? Market cap, okay. Superman slightly up. So we see that across these collectibles there is a slight going up, right? Miles Morales Spider-Man sitting at 8.7K, so that has already sold for more than 10K at some point. So we are seeing that some of these come back to reality, others are going up, like Amazing Fantasy. Or here this Bubbles, like some people bought this, now it's up like 233%. The floor is at 2.2K. as well as Amazing Fantasy, the common also going up 33%. These are not bad numbers, right? Overall for the price. So we will see if there can be some reversal, some uptrend coming in at some point here when altcoins are flying. I think we will really see it. But so far so good for the crypto market, where we are, retest and so on. I think we will have a great time ahead of us. So guys, make sure to smash up the like button once more. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Notifications on, and wherever you are on the world, have a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. I see you in the next live stream tomorrow and or video if I have a good idea. So enjoy your coffees and have a good one, everyone, and bye.